So the reason why this question uh, is one of my favorite things to talk about is because, as I kind of alluded to it earlier, uh, 20 years ago, I was thrust into the position of being market facing and being a global spokesperson. At that time, it was PeopleSoft. So I felt it necessary to come up with frameworks. Even more recently, I've come up with different frameworks around elevating organizational agility and a superior employee experience and AI and HCM. But let me drill into AI and HCM, because even though I came up with that framework when AI buzz was starting 6, 7 years ago, it definitely applies to payroll. So what I did one weekend was come up with as many use cases as I can come up with of how AI can help improve business operations and get better business outcomes across all HR process areas. And for the purpose of that exercise, I included payroll. And I looked at about 200 use cases. I kind of cataloged, and they 95% fell into 5 categories of use cases: personalize, predict, prescribe, curate, and understand. And if you think about the intersection of those 5 types of use cases, and you think about how they intersect with payroll, I mean, we could all come up with some of the examples. Curate, it's kind of an easy one, curating changes in tax code and regulations around the world. Predict transaction volumes, predict potential sources of errors, calculation errors. Personalize, maybe work schedule, and if you broaden it to the team, what is the best kind of schedule for the team to be as productive and have the most output coming out of that team? Personalize, predict, prescribe, understand why the reconciliation that we thought we'd get to this number based on the pluses and minuses over the last pay cycle, we thought we'd have a number with 10% off. Why is that so? So AI can really help in terms of, in a very efficient way, going out and seeing what's relevant in the regulatory environment around the world, what's relevant within the internal operating environment in terms of salary changes, one-time payments, joiners and leavers, etc. There's obviously dozens of reasons why payroll can be fairly complex. But AI can help make it less complex and therefore help the payroll team and leadership kind of avoid a lot of the potential risks out there and actually turn the managing of those risks into an opportunity for competitive advantage. So as I mentioned before, when I think about a global payroll platform and who are the leaders in that market segment, and I think about Neeyamo, who I've known really since the company was founded and been an avid fan for years, a platform in conjunction with AI capabilities leads to so many business benefits that are really tangible and can be quite material and significant. So when you have a platform, you can, again, optimize the planning around the workforce, optimize cost versus productivity. And as long as I'm mentioning cost and productivity, I'll give you another one of those kind of vignettes that I came up with when I was in spokesperson roles. Most people think, well, how can a 40% reduction in cost or cost savings be less significant than a 4% improvement in productivity? Let me give you this quickly, right? So let's say you're dealing with standard industry metrics here. The cost of HR and payroll service delivery, let's say, is $2,000 per employee. In a 5,000 employee organization, again, round numbers, that company is spending $10 million on HR and payroll service delivery, 2,000 times 5,000. 40% reduction in that means they're saving $4 million off the 10 million. So they're saving $4 million. It's a big number, but think about improving employee productivity and what are the ramifications of that. And I cannot stress this point enough. Even a 4% improvement in employee productivity totally overshadows a 40% cost savings in operating costs as it relates to the workforce. Why do I say that? Let's say take a figure of 150K revenue per employee, 150K, right? If you improve that by 4%, that's $6,000. You went from 150 to 156. Now multiply the 6,000 times the 5,000 employee organization, that's 30 million. On one hand, cost savings, it netted out to 4 million. 4% improvement in employee productivity nets out to a much bigger number. So focus on employee productivity, and when you're thinking about AI use cases, think about which ones that relate to improving employee productivity. Sorry to go on the soapbox there, but I feel very strongly about this.